Broadcasting to you on WNN 1470 AM and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
Trento heads United West, a group that says it defends Western civilization against the onslaught of Islam.
No. CJ, you are not going to take my opening, okay? This is my last opening for a couple of weeks. And stop kicking me, please. Stop! Stop it. You are not. I can't believe she's been hounding me for 2 days. Let me do the opening on Friday. I said, no.
I'm poking
my
him
show,
with my pen
opening.
under the desk right now.
My show, my opening. You're not going to do.
Okay, well, enjoy it because you don't get to do the opening
Well, go ahead.
for 2 whole weeks.
Go ahead, Jane.
No. Come on back. This
There
is
it
your
is
last chance.
for you. And your fans out there will be going, oh, is CJ going to beat up Mark on this one? Or is CJ going... Hi, everybody. It is Friday
Stay tuned
once
to
again.
see who CJ will beat up.
Yeah, stay tuned next week when we aren't here. And mass pandemonium will probably break out in our bunker here. Hi, everybody. 27th, Friday. 27th, is that the date?
Is it? No, I think it's the 26th.
Well,
it's the 26th, isn't it?
yeah, but this is tomorrow's show. Remember?
Oh, yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow's
Today.
show
Oh,
because,
yeah.
See, tomorrow in China, but for today is Friday.
That's right.
Okay.
Today really is Friday, the 27th.
Actually,
okay?
today is Friday the 27th in
Right.
Israel already.
There you
That's
go.
right, there it is.
That's
right.
what we're doing.
We're on
So-
Israeli time,
and
folks.
you know what?
And American
the,
time, and all kinds of time. Friday the 27th.
And you know what
it
today is?
What
You know
is
what
it?
the-
It's-
what today
It
is?
is
Jumpin'
Jum'ah Freaky Friday.
Silent. Ow.
It is getting louder.
CJ just blew out my ear.
Well, I was just testing. I was just testing the new headphones.
Yeah,
See how
they
those
work well,
for
CJ.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
For those of you not in the know, this thing in our ear, we hear everybody else speaking.
Right.
And when CJ screams, it vibrates.
It vibrates.
Your brain.
It melts it. That's
Melts
what's
it.
wrong with Tom.
But I would have to listen to that for 2 weeks.
Hey,
Yeah, but
Tom.
then you have to-
Tom. Hey,
There
you know
is a
what? I
God.
just thought of something.
What?
Neither will I.
There is a God, you see, and he's in Israel. So, you guys are going to have fun.
Yes.
You ready, Damon?
Yeah.
I'm ready to roll.
Mike, you ready?
You're
Ready? Abdullah, you going to be here for the 2 weeks we're gone?
I will be here. They did not accept my passport for your stinking trip.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. And we tried. We tried to get you. We said we will put him in baggage and let him
Yes,
freeze
yes, we
his
did.
ass off flying across the ocean. They
He's
said,
trying
no,
to
no, no.
kill me, this Trento.
They said, no. The care would be all over us if we put a Muslim in baggage.
No, I was
and
gonna-
flew them that way.
You were actually going to put him in baggage. I was putting him under the wheel well.
Oh, that little
You
place.
know
where
how
can
they-
hide?
you know,
People
that's
have
right,
done
you know,
that.
yeah.
Or we can put him in the overhead thing.
Bin.
We can do that. We
In
can
the
bring him like
meantime,
a.
enough of making of the fun. I cannot go anyway.
Okay.
Your security services did not, or your Israeli security
That's
service
right,
say
that's
no.
They nixed you.
They
You're
didn't.
gonna have to hire a goat herder when you get
We're gonna have
there.
to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
My Palestinian friends were very, very, very upset to hear that I was not going to
You know,
be
we
going.
we probably might be able to use him there just as an emergency. You
Just
know,
as an emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could tell us the words to the prayer and how to
And
do it. And
tell us how
everything,
to-
in case it gets tight.
In
Yeah.
case, yeah.
I would not feel comfortable over there with you.
But we are going, folks. Mark and I are leaving in 48 hours.
right?
Jumping on an aeroplane and heading across the big ocean. Oh, look at this. This is the big ocean right here. Yeah.
Don't know.
And we're gonna go like this.
what
We're gonna
I'm
leave.
thinking.
We're gonna leave New Jersey, and we're gonna fly all the way over to CJ's head right here. We're going to land over here someplace in Russia. It looks like. But we will. We'll trust that the pilot will land at Tel Aviv next
That's
week.
right.
We will be with Frank Gaffney and a small group of people on a national security fact-finding mission.
It's not
We're gonna
so
go.
small.
We're going to go really through the whole country. Country's the size of New Jersey.
And there'll be no drinking or cigar
and I could
smoking
drive
allowed.
Jersey with my eyes closed. I could drive Jersey with my eyes closed. We're going to go up to the northwestern border, which is where Lebanon and Hezbollah is. The northeastern and eastern side is a little touchy these days. At the Golan Heights, there are incursions and little dust-ups occurring regularly. We're going to have our cameras there. As I said, for a couple of days now, Mark's our main cameraman. And
I'm your only
out,
cameraman. What are you talking
Main
about? Our
sounded
main
cool.
cameraman. I'm
No,
your
we have a
only
couple of other schleppers that are going to help us.
Oh, like last time?
What are the guys that schlep the stuff up for
Sherpas.
Sherpa
Sherpas.
schleppers.
We got a couple of Sherpas.
I'm Mark Sherpa when we go on road trips.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. But I found
where we
out, you know, I'm a little heavier these days, a few pounds, but if I take a deep breath, I could fit directly behind Mark and no part of my body is exposed. So I'm staying behind
That was
Mark.
before, Tom. That's not now.
Okay. I got to watch the falafels. Got to go easy on the falafels. But we're going to go there. We're going to come down. We're obviously going to be in Tel Aviv and Haifa and interesting cities. There will be a archaeological / religious portion. Go to Tiberias, the Sea of Galilee. Obviously, the holy city. Go to Jerusalem. Over to Gaza, the border in Gaza. Probably Sderot again, where we were last year, looking at missiles that have been flown over and landing in the fields or in the city. Down to Eilat, and Eilat is on the Sinai, down the tip down there right now on the screen, and we will we'll touch, and we're going over to Jordan actually too. So we'll be in Jordan. We'll put our tippy toes over into Egypt, and and the best footage. So I will grab the cameras, though I may get a bathing suit cam for Mark. I will man the camera, and Mark is floating like
Like a floating
like an
thing.
Israeli walrus. in the
Whoa,
This is
whoa,
not
whoa.
nice.
Well, what is with this? Venomous.
no,
Just a lot of
no.
tax
Israeli
today.
walruses are
What
different.
is with
than
these venomous
There are no
attacks?
walruses
I don't
in
know,
Israel.
man. I just don't feel
Israeli walruses
love,
are different
man.
than American walruses.
no love, man.
Yeah,
the
they're
tusks.
mythical.
It's guys, just a I feel like I got to deal with my brothers now.
No,
man.
he
Constant
actually
abuse.
he actually floated in the Dead Sea last time, and I didn't. But I
That's-
will.
Well, yeah, you
I will
chickened
try.
out is
I
what
did chicken
happened.
out. Yeah, it was 40 degrees.
It
up in
wasn't 40
Florida.
degrees. It's
It was cold.
gee.
Was it cold water then?
It wasn't cold.
I will do it
What was
this
really hard to do was actually stand up in the
But I
Dead
don't
Sea.
want open parts of my body. I heard that certain parts of your body can burn for a couple of days. Certain very sensitive
You are
parts.
such a wuss. Why don't you take your pink compact down there to the river and then do your makeup while we're all wading in the water?
Don't tell them about it. They all think I'm a tough guy. They all think I'm a tough guy.
Cut your pink
Don't
compact.
ruin the image.
Take your pink compact and your
Don't
pink
ruin-
iPhone and call your mommy while you're
The
down there.
girl who checks your bags when you get
Yeah.
to Israel, she's
Yeah.
gonna have
Can
a
this
good
fit
giggle.
on my nose? It probably can, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't forget. Why don't you take your pink compact, your pink iPhone, and your pink iPad,
Uh-huh.
and then text all your little female
And then go toward the Mossad services and the IDF with all your pink stuff.
Yeah.
The
Can-
idea
is
of
it
ladies,
safe?
this
Is
is
it,
a
I'm
nice-
Tom Trento,
This
is it
a
safe
nice-
to go into
and
Dead
I'm
Sea?
saving the West from Islam.
Did you ever see A. Abdullah?
See, that's
Yeah,
why
there
he
you
doesn't
go.
want to go in
Yeah.
the Dead Sea.
Yeah, go tell one of those people that I'm afraid to go into Dead Sea.
I
Yeah.
think this clashes with the
Yeah.
the desert green. But
You're
the
never-
IDF
I-
ladies, do you ever see the IDF ladies?
They're hot.
Pretty slick IDF
They're hot.
ladies. They're going to like that compact. They are going to like that. Our guest is thumbs up on the IDF
thumbs
ladies.
up on the IDF ladies. Yes,
So,
two thumbs up.
All right, big stuff today. At 10 minutes, our clock is working. Good. 10 minutes after 5 o'clock. 27th of September, 2013 on a Jumpin
makes
Jum'ah
it
Freaky
Friday.
Yes, yes.
Not quick enough today.
Jumpin'
They're trying to speed through that.
I can't,
And typically on this day, we bring you some of the more interesting or creative or downright humorous elements of the religion of peace. And we do this purposely using the classic doctrines of Western parody and satire and humor, things that, Ayman al-Zawahiri just loves. And Osama bin Laden, may Satan rest his soul, just loves.
They're just very funny people.
They're very,
You
very
know,
funny.
terrorists are funny people. You do have to admit that their jocularity is bar none the best in the world.
Jocularity.
They're just a bunch. They crack you up. You know.
They don't like our...
Well, they do crack you up, yes.
They don't like our acute and on-point analysis of their doctrine,
Right.
the jihadis.
That's right.
And the exposition we provide of the bad guys
That's
and the
right.
trouble we bring into their lives.
That's right. They don't
So
like
we
to
wanna-
be poked in the eye.
Poked in the eye.
So we bring them some laughter and some fun.
Right.
by
But
showing-
not today.
But showing the absurdity of...
Yeah,
of
actually,
their
laughter
beliefs.
is,
So what are we doing
according-
instead?
according to Sharia law, laughter is actually banned.
Bad stuff.
Bad
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
laugh.
yeah.
Do not laugh.
Well, we got some interesting stuff for you today. We have kind of a panoply of items coming out of the Islamic world that, again, highlight the absurdity in a humorous or sad way. Sometimes humor is very dark, and some of the stuff we have is a bit dark for you. But we also are going to expose the absolute hypocritical Department of Justice.
Ooh.
Department
Department
of
of
Injustice.
Department of
Injustice.
Injustice. As you know, we've been pounding the hell out of CARE, Council on America-Islamic Relations, this past week. Last week, CARE released a 162-page report called Islamophobia, Legislating Fear.
Legislating fear.
And they dare go after our wonderful friend Claire Lopez and made her a floating head. And we said...
They did make her a floating
They
head.
did.
They
had
did.
They made her a
floating-
total
Yeah.
floating head.
Somebody said, they wrote in and said, Claire, you're now part of a Muslim dartboard on every mosque in America. They can print that thing out and
Yeah, that's
go
true.
right
they
around
did.
throwing darts at some of the insiders that are in different organizations. Well, so a week and a half ago, CARE released this really stupid report on how bad the United West is, Frank Gaffney and many others fighting this battle. And then we responded by exposing CARE as a criminal. How are they criminal, CJ?
Well, they are money launderers of foreign donations and influence. In other words, they're taking millions and millions of dollars in funds from Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states, laundering it in the United States through various shell games of corporations, and then using those funds to lobby Congress and have influence operations against the Department of Justice and produce reports such as Legislating Fear, Islamophobia, and its impact in the United States.
Which had to cost $100,000.
In fact, the timing of the release of this report coincides with the breaking of the news that CARE is, in fact, a criminal enterprise
It
Yes,
was
they
and
at the time.
was. What about the Department of Justice?
Yeah, for the timeline, folks, at 14 minutes after 5 o'clock on this wonderful Friday, we're laying out our summary on Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday, the culpability, criminal. Yes, Mark, waving your hand.
Well, I just want, before you go there, is CJ let off one important point that I think we wanted to talk about was some of their funders that actually came from there. One of the big funders was the one who's on the board of directors of the HRH Prince Alawid bin Talal,
You got a
chairman of the
picture? Got a
Kingdom
picture of
Holding
that by any
Company.
chance?
$600,000, and we do have it up
You
on
have
screen.
evidence? I need evidence. Show. Oh, there it is.
There it
There's
is.
the evidence right there. There's the printed evidence.
Right.
Here's the guy.
Is that the stupidest looking guy in the world?
He is. Now, interestingly, our
That guy makes more money in interest a day than most of us will make in our lives.
In a lifetime.
now Alawid bin Talal is quite the interesting character. He's the one, if you remember, Rudy Giuliani, who tried to give the $10 million check to
Yeah, what a
in New York.
cheapskate.
Right. After 9/11, he says and he says, well, you have to take some responsibility for these actions, America.
Right. If you
And
didn't provoke us, you wouldn't have been
yeah,
attacked.
if you didn't provoke us, you wouldn't have been attacked.
Yeah.
And he had a $10 million check to give to
Yeah.
Giuliani, and Giuliani said, bite me, right?
Yeah.
And handed the check back, and threw it back at him and says, no, you just go to wherever.
Yeah. So, and
Now-
where did he go? He
Yeah.
went. He took
Oh,
20 million and went to Georgetown, right?
It
Went
went
to
to
Washington.
Georgetown, and then
Trained
he
to
went to
Washington.
Fox News
At the Fox.
and bought
Yeah.
into Fox News, second largest stockholder in Fox News now. And now to come to find out, which we didn't know till about a week ago, he is donating, what was it, 600,000 or 100,000? I can't remember. To
Well, we have that document. But,
Yeah, what was
It was $600,000 from an individual in Saudi Arabia. It was $200,000 from the UAE embassy.
right.
oh, he gave a
Half a
million.
million for the library.
Yeah.
It's just for the library.
Yeah.
Care is our special guest. Leading.
Yes, our special guest.
By
is Lee.
special guest.
But
By
the-
special guest.
By
But the
by
king.
most special
Yes,
guest.
the most special guest. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
You should let her look at this later on.
Yep.
Because it looks like crazy stuff now, but it actually
Yep.
comes out.
And it actually looks crazy when you watch the
Yes.
video too.
So
Yep.
have some alcohol close by. Prince Al-Walid
Bin
bin
Talal,
Talal
back to him.
gave a $500,000 smackaroonies to CARE, and on their website, CARE has these debunking myths.
Uh-huh.
Myth number 6: CARE takes foreign money. They go on to say, we don't take any foreign money. Donations are by poor little people. $5 and $10 donations to CARE. Then
Right.
they say,
And it's a
the
total lie.
$500,000 donation we got from
Oh, yeah.
Prince Al-Walid bin Talal.
That was to the CARE
was
Foundation.
They don't even say that. They just say that was for a library and for some books.
Yeah.
And you'll scratch your head and you go, we don't take any foreign donations. And
But the money
took
we do
this
take-
for a library.
But
And
the
you
money
go,
we do take is doesn't go to us.
And how and we actually called a resident expert on this and said, can you help us, David?
Yerushalmi.
Yoshami.
Shalmi. And we said, David, can you help us understand what CARE is saying on their website, where they say we don't take money, but then they tell you money they took from the prince, $500 million, was 500 million, right?
Yeah. What?
No.
No,
What was-
500,000.
500,000.
Just $500,000.
$500,000. That they said that they applied it here, but they don't consider that foreign money. He goes, remember what he said? He said, Tom, I can't understand their reports and their papers when they file. These people are incoherent.
The judge couldn't understand
Stand up.
what their attorneys were saying. Here's right from their website. It's internet disinformation, number 4, right from the CARE
Disinformation,
website. And the disinformation is CARE receives foreign money. CARE's operational budget is funded by donations from American Muslims. While the majority of CARE's financial support comes from the American Muslims, CARE is proud to receive the support of every individual, whether Muslim, Christian, Jewish, or any other faith background. We know, in fact, from David Yerushalmi, that he said the private donations to CARE Foundation, the charity, is minuscule in the tens of thousands, and their budget is $2.5 to $3.5 million, primarily funded with overseas money that they're funneling through the for-profit corporation.
Well, guilty as charged.
And the reason, but also it should be go ahead and you can check the archives for the interview that we had with David Yerushalmi.
Yeah, it's doing
Go
great.
to
Yoshami.
YouTube.
Yoshami.
Yerushalmi.
No, we're the Ural Shami.
Go to youtube.com/The United West. The reason why David knows this information is because he's representing several Muslims who have sued.
It's 5
CARE.
clients, 3 Muslim.
Yeah.
3 of the 5 are Muslim.
3 of the 5 are Muslims. Okay. So he's representing these people in a lawsuit against CARE. And so
Right.
this information came to him through discovery. So it's not like he's just after
Making it
CARE
up,
and he's
right.
making it up or anything
It's in
like
the public
that.
domain now.
And
so,
it's in the public
Well,
domain.
and he couldn't get that list of donors. It's not public information, is what you're saying. It wasn't public information that he
It
got
was
this list.
not public information.
They had to
It-
force
beat
to
him
get-
over the head.
beat him
Yep.
over the head to
That's right.
release who are your donors coming
Right.
from, and to come to find out what they are doing is completely illegal because
Right.
they have to be registered as a foreign agent if they're receiving money from
That's
overseas
right. That's right.
in that capacity and function.
That's
I know.
right.
Why is this important to all our viewers and listeners at 20 minutes after 5 o'clock on WNN 1470? Tom Trento, CJ. We're all here on this wonderful Friday. Hello to Bonnie over at Bare Naked Islam, doing a great job. Please go to that website, barenakedislam.com. Really insightful and some very tough material she puts out there. Tea Party Community. Hello, everybody. TeaPartyCommunity.com.
Tea
One of
Party
our
community
partners.
has to be very, very proud of themselves this week.
Why?
Why?
What happened?
Because they're having a profound influence
Oh,
on
yeah.
what's happening in the Senate and the
Oh,
House
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
Yeah. The other
And
part
they're
of
the
our
ones who are
work.
going to save this country.
Yeah, the other part of our work, beating the Obama policy down, and right now there's the debt ceiling battle going on, the Obamacare battle. Tea Party community mobilizing great patriotic Tea Party members all over the United States are indeed having an impact there. To what extent, we shall see. Too many rhinos floating around Washington, D.C. But the fact of the matter is very simple, folks. This organization, CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations, they have unindicted co-conspirator status. Coming out of 2008, federal trial of funneling money to Hamas to kill Jews.
Right.
The largest terrorism funding
Funding
trial in the United States.
They have been implicated on that.
Right.
Now they are outed as a criminal money laundering syndicate.
Right.
Outed again. Why is this important? Because they, members of CARE, occupy the highest of positions in the administration to influence our policy, our foreign policy, through the president and his national security advisors. To the extent that 2 days ago at the United Nations, the president said, guess what? My new most important thing for the remaining 5 years is what? Remember what he said?
Don't even make me say
He said,
it.
my
Do
new
you have the
most
graphic?
important thing in my life, the next 5 years, he divided into two. He said, one is to bring about peace between Israel
Well, that was
and
like
Palestine,
his third
and
thing
Okay.
on the list.
to develop Palestine
Right.
into an independent state, and to resolve the nuclear issue in Iran. Those are really what I'm going to work on. This is comical stuff.
I tell you what.
Because-
Actually, one operation could take care of both.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
and if you understand the ideology of both, one is Shia, one is Sunni.
Right.
If you understand the ideology and the methodology of these two entities that the president is identifying as his most important in the next
Right.
5 years, then, and you're real good, you got a 50-50 chance of maybe having some success.
Right.
If you misunderstand the ideology and the methodology of the Iranians and the Palestinians in Gaza, and if you have a proclivity to side with those individual entities, Iran and Palestine on the world stage, you're doomed for failure. This president is absolutely doomed for failure on this. And that's not a small thing. That's not like knocking this thing off, or, dropping my glasses like that. These are world issues that can bring about apocalyptic, catastrophic events. And in about 6 days, Mark and I will be at Armageddon.
Be very, very
Walking
quiet.
around the Megiddo Valley where the big showdown is supposed to take place. We'll report there from you. Oh, that's good. That's very good sound effects. So, read the book of Revelation. Okay?
We are be very,
So,
very
what we're
quiet.
going to do now, CARE screwed up in 2008, unindicted co-conspirators. 2013, criminal laundering syndicate. The Department of Justice. Now we move into our exposition.
Just real quick. Here's David Shalmi's article on the current money laundering, not
Current,
just
right
the
now,
Holy
right
Land
now,
Foundation, but something that he just discovered. These are two separate
Discovered
things.
in
Okay, the
discovery.
convictions that came down for Holy Land Foundation that CARE was called labeled an unindicted co-conspirator, and which still is, contrary to they would have you believe if you read
They
from
said
their
they're not- they don't have that
website.
status, but
Okay, everyone out there, they are still an unindicted co-conspirator. All the courts did is say that, yeah, we shouldn't have released to the public that you're an unindicted co-conspirator, but they refused to take the label away.
Too late, we did.
But here is current. This is an article from late last week, over the weekend, from David Yerushalmi, American Freedom Law Center, about fresh
American Freedom
discovery.
Law Center, is that like a hate group or something?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a hate
they
group.
are.
That's a hate group.
Very similar to the United West.
They're a hate group.
Very
Yep,
similar
yep,
to the Family Research Council,
Yep.
Yep.
because they're very hateful.
All right, so now in our indictment, our continuing indictment against CARE, very recently, last week, the Department of Justice, the Obama holder Department of Justice, this kind of freaked us out, issued from one of the inspector generals.
Well,
their
that's why
office.
it was done, was because it was an inspector general. It
Hey.
wasn't really the
Wasn't
Department
really,
of Justice.
it was an
It
inspector
was like a
general.
special prosecutor.
An inspector general reprimanded the DOJ's elite force, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, reprimanded 5 offices. And this is serious stuff when the inspector general says the FBI has failed to follow Department of Justice doctrine and policy. After the Holy Land Foundation, the DOJ said to the FBI, no liaisoning, no collaborating, no joining with CARE to teach Muslim sensitivity and all the BS that they had been doing. They said the only reason you can deal in any capacity with a member of CARE is to investigate them in some sort of criminal activity, or if they
Right.
know about criminal activity.
Right.
So the Department of Justice tells the FBI, stay away from CARE. Now,
And
you would
meanwhile,
think,
There's the executive
Meanwhile-
summary from the report.
Well,
And meanwhile, CARE tells the people on their website, don't cooperate with
With the
the
FBI.
FBI
Yeah.
unless you call a lawyer first.
right.
okay, follow this, folks,
Well,
at
hold-
28 minutes
I
after
just want to
5
make
o'clock.
a perfectly
Go ahead,
clear
make the
point. Is the Department of Justice IG office, which
Inspector
is
General.
separate office, investigates the FBI on their relationship with CARE. They say stay away from them. Is that correct? Is that-
Absolutely.
okay. And then the Department of Justice IG office does what when the Department of Justice opens up relations with CARE? What do they do with that?
They did what? Okay, that's the next piece of the puzzle right now. Again, for the people just getting in your automobiles, putting the radio on,
Yeah.
and going, let's see what these crazy people are doing today.
Right.
It's Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday, so
Wow.
you never know what's going to happen.
He's quick, man.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But we're
late.
exposing the Department of Justice as a organization with tremendous hypocrisy and dysfunction. Tremendous the hypocrisy and dysfunction as it relates to collaborating with Islamic jihadis, and in fact, Islamic criminals. Now, we here at TrentoVision, we speak unfiltered truth, and we don't have to look at John Gotti or Frank Nitti or Al Capone and say, well, these guys haven't been convicted at this point. They're really not guilty. We can say, no, those guys are guilty. They just haven't been convicted.
Correct.
And that's what we do when we look at Nihad Awad and other CARE leaders. They are guilty of money laundering. If you're the leader of an organization that is de facto funneling money and laundering it, you're the leader. You're guilty.
You know
okay?
what?
They're
I've been
terrorists,
thinking-
Tom.
I've
What
been
do they
thinking
do?
about this, okay? And wondering for years, why is Nihad Awad not in prison? Okay? I think
Maybe it has something to do with an iftar dinner.
Oh, this may be interesting.
I think he's ratting out
flipped.
lower level
He's flipped.
Muslims across the United States,
He could
just
be.
Joe
feeding a
Valachi.
few mackerel to the feds in exchange for keeping his
double
status
agent.
and his
Double.
position.
He's Joe
So
Valachi.
you guys, you Muslims who think that CARE is actually a legitimate civil rights organization, and you're sending your $5 and $10 checks to them because you think they represent your interests, think about why the guy on top, who's got all these investigations swirling around him, is still unindicted
Oh,
and
that's
not
very
behind
interesting.
bars.
What do we
think
think?
about
Ooh, that
all
is
the
good.
dirt that the government has on this guy, and he is not in jail.
Nothing. You know, nothing. What do you
That's
think, Mark?
Sounds could be a rat in the ship.
Well, it would. What does it do? Again, if we're analyzing this for a second here, if he did flip and he is an agent for an undercover agent for the undercover operative for the FBI.
Yeah, but I think
Are you talking
it's
about
in the
Nihad
same-
Awad?
It's in
Yeah.
the same sense as like when you have like a drug dealer who throws, just street dealers
Well,
by way of the cops just to keep them off his back. Doesn't mean he's not still a drug dealer,
Yeah.
and that's where his true allegiance
I don't know. Well,
is.
let's take it 2 levels. This is interesting. I mean, he can do a 100% flip, and he cut a deal with the federal government to say, okay, I'll stay in, I'll run it, I'll implicate myself and stuff to get others for a 5-year bust, 5 years down the road. In exchange for, I got relatives all over the world, I want them protected. I got these assets I want protected. I mean, he could have cut a nice deal, long-term deal, that really expands way out. And he's going to do this for 5 years, then a new name, new identity, all of that, to avoid spending life in prison.
well, here's the
if you
pattern,
listen-
Tom. Here's the pattern. Look at Alan Moody. When they arrested him,
Yep,
man, he started singing like a canary,
that's right.
and he's still singing.
Yeah.
And they're still scrambling. One of these guys go down, one of these top leaders go down, I guarantee you
I'm leaning toward this.
they'll start singing like canaries. And Nihad, hey Nihad, you want to play drop the soap with Bubba for the next 25 years, or do you want to?
No. Did you
hey.
just say what I think
Yeah.
you said?
Yeah, what do you
Well, I
want to do?
think there's enough Muslims in prison now that he wouldn't have to worry
Yeah.
about that.
Well, oh no, he'd have to. I mean, it would. Well, maybe depends on how they put him in prison. But yeah, no, this is interesting. The theory we're discussing right now, why Nihad Awad, the executive director of CARE National, why he hasn't been wrapped up by the feds, and at least a couple of charges that are so obvious brought up against him.
Yeah.
And CJ floated the theory, which needs to be
Vetted, yeah.
evaluated, that he's flipped. He's flipped, and you can flip at different degrees. Sometimes when these guys flip, they don't go in 100%. They just kind of
Yeah,
dabble
I think he's
in there.
just doing what he has
Could
to.
be.
I think he's still committed to the jihad.
Yeah.
Well,
I just think he's doing what he has to
but
to stay in the game.
if the Federal Bureau of Investigation,
Yeah.
historically, and other intelligence agencies have been very good at handling these guys, and it's hard once you get in and you start cutting deals. It's hard to then tell everybody how you're going to do it on your terms. So if he has flipped, he's going to wind up 100%, and he'll cut a good deal, and he'll keep himself and his family out of trouble. A lot of people will go down in 4 or 5 years when the investigation is over. Don't forget, Chris Gobbets was undercover
That's
and
right.
pulled out so many documents,
Mm-hmm.
and quite possibly Chris didn't show all the documents
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
in the case. He gave some documents, I don't know, completely
I don't know.
speculating, gave some documents that had some superior value
Mm-hmm.
to the FBI. It's
Mhm.
quite possible that happened. I don't know.
Right.
I'm speculating.
Right.
We're just speculating.
Tom,
And at the same time, I
you
guess
might be
to
speculating. Just
to
be
throw
quiet, Tom.
to throw everybody off.
Sure.
The FBI at the same time is engaging in these ridiculous community relations and outreach programs
programs.
with CARE in different cities
Yeah.
across the country.
Well, there could
So
be
is
dumb
there?
FBI agents too.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on? Like
We met
within
one
the
of them.
FBI, one hand is investigating CARE, the other hand is holding CARE's hand.
Well, let's go to the Department of Justice, because Damon has put a tremendous amount of material together. We're just gonna introduce the issue, and then we're gonna take a look at the event and then you guys are going to pick it up when we're not
You
here.
guys want to go right to the event? You want to just do
Well,
it
let's
that
look
way?
at the event that's going to
What's the event?
occur, and then we'll look at some of the evidence, and then after the event, we'll read about it in the newspapers. And
You think
we'll
so?
It's
Well,
such
maybe
a such a
this event.
stellar event here, Tom.
why don't you lay out the event?
There it is.
There it is.
What is it?
Identify issues facing the Muslim community.
Now, this is right off of CARE Florida's website. Okay, September 28th.
Hang on, one step at a time for our listeners and viewers. You said CARE Florida.
Correct. I said CARE Florida,
What is
which
that?
is
Yeah.
listed if you go to the CARE national website.
Washington, D.C.
They're Washington, D.C. Then it says chapters. Then you click chapters, and you click
Got it.
Florida,
I
and
got
there
it.
it is. In fact,
Okay,
I
I
have
got
some
it.
slides
But
in
hold
there.
on, hold on. Didn't the head of CARE just the other day and repeatedly hundreds of times say he has absolutely no association with CARE National?
Yes.
I mean, doesn't that still hold that position? He's completely separate from CARE National. He has nothing to do with CARE National. Yet he
Ask
uses
the guy
their
next to you.
Yet they use their logo and everything else. Is that the same CARE?
That would be the same CARE.
Yes.
You say that would be the same CARE.
Whack, whack,
That
whack.
would be the same CARE. In fact,
Well, there is no
I have
duck.
some-
It is. No, hold
What
on.
does it say?
There is no walk. It is the duck.
It is the duck, right? It's not if it looks like a
The
duck.
I'll
duck,
show
it-
you some stuff right off
is
of their
the duck.
website.
Yeah.
Okay?
So it definitely is CARE.
Let
It
the
is
audience
definitely
decide.
CARE.
We'll
Yeah,
just
let's-
I could use a
present
little
the
help with
evidence.
graphics.
I don't know. Where that. Okay, go ahead. Start
This
talking.
is so much fun.
This is editing on the fly here.
Well,
Okay.
here's
Live
what
television,
here's what the
folks.
event is. Okay, again,
Here.
it is identify issues facing the Muslim community.
Could
It
we
is
see
September
the-
28th,
could we see it?
2013, and it lists location 10600 Southwest 59th Street, Davie, Florida.
All right, so what you're saying while you're sorting stuff out, this coming Saturday, tomorrow, folks, tomorrow in Davie, Florida, which is 30 minutes from Boca Raton, where our radio station is. Tomorrow, Saturday, at 9 o'clock in the morning, 30 minutes from where we are broadcasting, there's going to be a half-a-day seminar from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. The name of the seminar is Identifying
Issues
facing the Muslim community.
Identifying
Yes.
issues facing the Muslim community. Do they list the issues, CJ?
Well,
No,
what
they don't.
what they say is to address
That
greater
too.
community needs, CARE Florida and the
That too.
Department of Justice's
The
community
who?
Department of Justice Community Relations Service are hosting an event to mediate, problem solve, and improve relations between communities with changing demographic populations.
Did I hear the Department of Justice?
Yes, Department of Justice.
Is this the same Department of Justice that had an inspector general
Yes.
tell its FBI, do not collaborate with CARE?
Yes.
Let me get this straight, folks. Now, this is for, I know many of you driving in your cars and those watching and listening are going, well, what is this all about? This is dramatically important to our national security when we have people who function as cultural or actual terrorists advising this president and collaborating with our Department of Justice in a way that's deleterious to the United States. This is the kind of stuff that takes governments down. That's what we're exposing right now. The Department of, read that Department of Justice relationship. Same Department of Justice that last week said the FBI should have nothing to do with CARE. But today the Department of Justice that said nothing to do with CARE
Right.
says,
It's the Department of Justice's Community Relations and Service.
Yes, I just want to make that
Department.
distinct.
Yeah.
When you talk about Department of Justice,
Yeah.
you have the DOJ Inspector General's office
Right.
looking at the FBI.
Right.
Why isn't the DOJ Inspector General's office looking at the DOJ?
Well, why wasn't the Inspector General looking at the DOJ when the DOJ about a month and a half ago was where? In Tennessee,
Right.
to tell people in Tennessee how to sue
Right.
for their supposed civil rights grievance
Right.
issues if they're Muslims.
Uh,
Until people got wind of it and went.
But now the latest story is, well, it's not really the DOJ that's having. I bet you we're going to hear this from
Who is
this. Huh?
who is it?
Oh, well, it's
wait
not.
a
It's a
minute.
really. It's a community outreach program of
Oh,
the.
yeah.
So it's not really the DOJ.
I
Oh, you mean
understand.
it's the same community outreach program that went down to Trayvon Martin's case?
That's exactly
Organized
it.
the Trayvon Martin March.
The same
That's
group?
right.
Same
Same
division
exact
of
group.
the
Out of the
Community
Department of-
DOJ, yeah.
Relations
Yes.
Service.
That was out of the Department of Justice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Eric Holder's group.
Yes.
That's the one that they got a hold of the Freedom of
Buses
Information
and everything.
documents.
That's right.
Right on the
Well, huh?
invitation, it states that it is from
Oh,
to address credit from the Department of Justice's Community Relations Service.
it's the
And if you go to their website, it is a Department of Justice website. Okay, that division,
But
you
that-
access it via the DOJ website.
Who
It-
pays the salaries?
You
of-
do.
we do.
No. I mean, when they get
Department
the
of
checks,
Justice.
is it from the Department of Justice? The people that are actually going to be in Florida tomorrow,
Yes.
working with CARE.
Right.
When they get their paycheck, what division of the federal government names on the paycheck?
I don't get a paycheck from them, but I would assume DOJ. I don't think it's going to say
If
Community
you-
Relations Services
If
on
you
it.
go to their, if
So
you,
it's say U.S. Treasury, Tom.
if you Google Department of Justice, Department of Community Relations, the top one goes to justice.gov/CRS/ okay, Community Relations Service. Okay, it goes straight to that website. The second link is to the Trayvon Martin and the DOJ's influence operation to bus
I
people
know,
into
folks.
Florida
Right.
to stir
Here's-
people up in the
So
Here's where we
the-
become
the-
more
the-
haters.
Well, yeah, because we're haters. Because just to recap, we
This is
have.
their peacemaking agency.
All
They
right.
call it the peacemaking agency.
I'm just going to try to see if I
Let Mark
understand.
recap. Go ahead.
A quick summary. The Department of
I need a
Justice,
drink.
Inspector General's
H2O.
office came down upon the FBI for having community outreach to CARE and other
Yeah.
Muslim groups, right?
Yeah.
The Department of Justice, Community Relations Department, went and stirred up all this nonsense with Trayvon Martin.
Yes.
Now they're out there stirring up community relations with CARE and other Muslim groups.
May I read, please, from the mission statement of the Department of Justice's Community Relations
Go ahead.
Service?
Go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah,
Their mission, and I'm reading this from the website, the Community Relations Service is the department's, quote, peacemaker for community conflicts
Peacemaker.
and tensions arising from differences of race, color, and national origin. Created by the Civil Rights Act of 1964, CRS is the only federal agency dedicated to assist state and local units of government, private and public organizations, and community groups with preventing and resolving racial and ethnic tensions, incidents, and civil disorders, and in restoring racial stability and harmony. Okay? Now, there's more that comes
It
after
sounds like
that.
it sounds-
But this event
You know what?
tomorrow is taking place in
light
Davie,
bulb.
Florida. You want to tell me, please, what kind of racial tension,
Hey. I got it.
ethnic
I got it.
tension, and disharmony
I
is
got it.
happening in
I
Davie,
got it.
Florida?
Davie, Florida.
Or are they coming to make sure that there will be?
Who is on all the human rights boards
Hello?
in the state of Florida? Who is head of who? Ahmed Badir, head of the president of the Civil Rights Human Rights Commission down in Tampa.
Yeah.
You have Parvez Ahmed
In Jacksonville.
in Jacksonville,
Yeah.
and if you look up there also in New York, Long Island, New York,
That's right.
there
6 of 13
six-
members are Muslims, and they only make up
On the
1%
Human
of
Rights
the
Board.
population of
So-
the area.
Hey, people out there, you see a pattern here? They call this
Yeah.
a clue.
Where is this thing taking place? In a hotel?
It's funny that
You
you
asked
asked that.
Funny that I asked.
Funny
Funny
that you
that
asked
you
because
asked.
what
Yes.
happened
Fed
is
you a A straight line.
On the invitation from CARE, it only gave an address.
Really?
And I
Did you
don't
look
have
it up?
like a big.
Oh, they don't have a name.
It didn't have a name, which was
like
a little
the
weird.
Hilton Hotel. Or
Like
something.
Hilton
No,
Hotel.
normally a lot of times they do it at a nice hotel
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
usually convention center or
Right.
a lot. I've been, we've been to places where they have stuff, but
So it was
it
that.
didn't give a name. It didn't give a name. It gave the address, 10600 Southwest 59th
Isn't it
Street.
that synagogue down
No, so I
No,
went to the
okay.
Broward County property appraisers and put in the address. And lo and behold, here's the Broward County property appraisers. And it says 10600 Southwest 59th
What is
Street.
that?
And it says Nur ul Islam of South Florida.
Nur ul
I'm
Islam.
like, Nur
Well,
ul Islam. And
What's that?
then I went, I said, wait a second. That sounds like a mosque. And so sure enough,
It is.
I went and that's what it looks like.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
It's a
god.
$3
all right.
million dollar
So
mosque.
this
And
is
so then I went and I did a little more
So it's a
digging.
legit-
and
it's
so I
legitimate,
looked up the
yes.
Nurul Islam Academy
Uh-huh.
and the mosque and as a registered agent name, it gives a guy named Kem Hussein.
Cam Hussein.
yeah, just a normal guy.
Cam
normal
Hussein.
guy. Oh,
Yeah.
that name
That's
rings
kind
a
of
bell.
like Joe Smith.
Yeah, Cam Hussein. Okay, so we got Noor El.
Yeah,
Islam
and then
Mosque.
while I was on the on their website, one of the very first things.
Did your computer crash?
The mosque website, is that what you're talking about?
And then right off of the mosque, their website is this little prayer, and it's the Surah Al-Fatiha in the name of Allah, the beneficent,
Chapter
the
1.
merciful.
Yep.
Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, owner of the day of judgment. Thee alone we worship. Thee alone we ask for help. Show us the straight path, the path of those whom thou hast favored, not the path of those who earn thine anger, nor of those who go astray. Now,
So no infidels or apostates.
Yeah.
basically,
No infidels or apostates.
no
right.
infidels
That's
or
the
apostates.
famous
No.
verse cursing Christians and Jews, okay?
Yeah.
We know that verse. So that's their lead verse, so we know where they're coming from.
So
And that's
this
the-
is where the Department
No.
of Justice. What is the program? Do we know what the program is?
Not exactly.
It's going to be
no.
take your shoes off, bow down, and turn over Department of Justice.
You know the name of that person who owned that mosque kind of rings a bell.
Ken
I've heard.
Hussein or
I've
something?
I've heard of that somewhere. You know, it's
Well,
Where might
where am I?
you
Where
have
am I
heard
heard
about
that?
it,
I've heard of
Mark?
that somewhere.
I don't know. There are a couple other big outside of CARE.
I got,
There are a couple of other unindicted co-conspirators that were involved with the Holy Land Foundation.
really?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Associated with this
And-
mosque?
well, yeah, we'll get there. So here's
At 48
I
minutes
did.
after
Here's the
the
Nurul
hour.
Islam Academy. This is called the Florida Council of Independent Schools, and that lists the academy, lists Kem Hussein as the head of the school.
Oh,
So
okay.
Cam Hussein is he's the registered agent of the mosque,
Yep.
Yeah.
and he's now what position
Now
with
then,
the school? That's
It
part of
says
the mosque?
head of school. Kem Hussein, head of school.
He's the headmaster of the school.
Yep, there it
Ken's-
is.
Ken's
Okay.
a
Okay.
He gets around.
busy guy.
Okay, then there's something called the Council of Islamic Schools in North America.
Okay.
Oh, that could be
Okay,
see
that's
that.
kind of
North
like
America?
That's a big
yeah.
one.
See, it seems like it's a pretty
Cisna.
decent.
Cisna. Well, isn't that like?
Cisna instead of Isna.
But that's got the same little symbol up there on the left as Isna. If I see that little,
Yeah,
that's
it
kind of their.
is.
It's their.
Well, they're enhancing the quality of education for Muslim children.
Oh,
Okay.
Isna
That's
is.
cool. That's
So the-
cool.
So then Cisna then has its own board of directors. And sitting at the very top of the Cisna board directory
Is Cam
Is
Hussein.
Kim Hussein.
Cam
Oh, wait, I'm getting
Hussein.
confused here. Let me-
He's the
hang
president.
on
He's
for
the
our
president.
Listening and driving
Go
audience.
back. He's the president, isn't he? The middle thing.
Yeah,
president.
yeah.
Says the
For-
president.
For our listening and driving audience. Right now, here on TrentoVision at 50 minutes after 5 o'clock, just got a few minutes left, and we only have about 4 more hours of material over here on my screen, but this is good because we need to out these folks. We're simply connecting the dots, showing you terrorist connections to an event tomorrow at a mosque in the Fort Lauderdale area. with the Department of
Department of
Justice
Justice.
and a group of people that are involved in terrorism.
1 week after the Department of Justice had just issued a report scolding the FBI for doing this exact same type of thing.
Well, the
This is the
Inspector General's
incoherence.
office did. The Inspector General, not the Department of Justice. The Inspector General's office did.
Which is like the head honcho, right? They're,
No, it's-
they're the
it's-
overseer.
Independent.
No.
They're
The
independent.
the IG is an independent group overseeing.
Independent
Right.
overseer.
But
oversight.
it's supposed to look at the Department of Justice.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway,
go
you
ahead.
have that
Kem
Cisna.
Hussein shows up as the registered agent for the mosque.
Yes,
The headmaster for the school at the mosque.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this interesting
Cisna.
national school organization. He's on the board of directors of
He's
Not
not,
just
only on it, he is the
national, no,
president.
He's the president.
There it is.
It's
He's the
not
top
just
name right
national,
there.
It's North American.
this. This guy is a big dude.
Well, you would think, but what is that? Of all the Muslim Brotherhood entities, what is considered the head? Not the
head-
first, but the head
of the
of
snake?
the of alphabet soup of the MBs.
The ISNA without the C.
So, if you look in the bottom right corner,
What are we looking
this is
at?
the ISNA
What are we looking
Board
at?
board of. This is a list of the board
What
of
is
directors.
this for our guys driving
Islam
cars?
Society of North America.
And who are they?
An unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land Foundation and the head of the snake of the United States Muslim Brotherhood, a.k.a. Hamas in North America.
Oh.
Who was
Okay, and on the
founded
screen-
by, who was had their 50th year anniversary all the way back to the MSA in Chicago, and they did a
Urbana.
whole-
Which
Urbana.
is the Muslim Student Association.
Muslim Student Association.
So analogously, this is the board of directors we're going to show of the 5 mafioso families
Yeah.
of New York.
Yeah.
This would
Okay,
be
go ahead.
considered the Don of the Dons.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell us about this.
Okay, and this is a list of the, 12 board of directors of ISNA, which is the head of the snake.
Muslim Brotherhood.
Okay, and
influence
listed on there in the
operators
very
in
bottom is
US.
Kem Hussein, Council
Kem
of
Hussein
Islamic Schools of North America. So there is no doubt that we're dealing with the Kem Hussein all the way from who is listed as the
Okay,
agent.
hang on 1 second. We've got to make a very important point. Kem Hussein, K-E-M Hussein, is on the board of directors of ISNA
ISNA
is
National.
National.
The
And-
big snake. Yeah.
And this is the organization, Kem's organization is sponsoring the Department of Justice tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we don't.
All right, let's make the national connection here.
Well, let's
Well-
make a distinction between sponsoring and hosting.
He's hosting.
Okay,
CARE is
because
sp-
it's
CARE
the
is-
taxpayers of the United States who are paying the Department of Justice to show up at this mosque to instigate Muslim grievances against
Okay.
the rest of us
Okay.
in South Florida.
I'll
Okay.
buy that.
And
Not Muslim grievances, terrorist grievances. That's what's happening in this. Because
That's what's
ISNA
happening.
is a terrorist organization.
All right, now
it
this is
a
a
big
very
terrorist
important point we have to
organization.
make right now. So we tracked Kem Hussein. We're doing a little forensic analysis, folks, expanding and exposing these connections. Watch this connection now. Kem Hussein is on the board of directors. Go back to that screen. Let's see if we can find the name Imam Mohammed Majid.
Oh, right there.
Is he anywhere on there?
Yes.
Oh, he's just the
yes.
president.
He's just the president.
Imam Mohammed Majid is the president of the Islamic
Slideshow.
Society of North America,
Slideshow.
which is an unindicted
Oh, you wanna do the video?
co-conspirator. And Kem Hussein, who is hosting this meeting tomorrow in Fort Lauderdale. Now, how could we position Imam Mohammed Majid, who is involved with terrorism? We know that. How could we position him with the United States government and or the Obama administration? Is there any way we can connect Imam Mohammed Majid?
Oh,
oh
my God.
my goodness.
What is that, Jane?
Jane.
That looks like Imam Mohammed Majid sitting next to Barack Hussein Obama, who is sitting next to
to
Huma Abedin
Abedin.
Wiener,
At the
August-
iftar din.
Yeah, it's in
the
August
White House iftar dinner,
of 2012.
August of 2012.
And Mohammed Majid has the president's ear on
Literally.
literally on dictating foreign policy, and the Department of Justice is sending their little renegade folks down to Fort Lauderdale to work with CARE
Yeah.
through the direction of Mohammed Majid.
To instigate social discord in South Florida.
There you go, folks. That's the infiltration of the Islamic ideology in the culture of America.
Yeah. Using the Department of Justice to community organize South Florida.
That's enough of a problem for Broward County.
Yeah.
That's enough of a problem for South Florida.
And,
Yeah.
and
But
here's
when
what they were
Mohammed
doing inside the
Majid-
White House.
When Mohammed Majid starts helping dictate foreign policy, how the president will deal with Israel and Palestine and the West Bank, now we really up the ante. What are you guys showing us now?
It's
on
the
this
iftar
screen?
dinner. This is prior to
What?
Obama.
This is a bunch of Muslim folks
In the White House.
in the White House kneeling for prayer and all of that.
Yeah. That was right before this.
Right before the dinner.
That was right. That was right before Imam Majid and Barack were drinking some juice, gin and juice.
Juice.
What do you say? What they say?
Right before they were drinking some juju juice. Orange
Yeah, they don't
juice.
drink wine, those folks, or anything. They
Yeah.
need to. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
they-
the problem. Muslims
Maybe they should drink
a little
wine.
bit.
Uh,
I don't know.
Then they could be like the
let's-
Russians.
you know-
Let's take a reality test,
Check.
Mark.
There is no
We're gonna be
reality
leaving.
check here.
Yeah,
I'll
no
be-
reality
yeah,
check.
Just let that go for a little while.
Sometimes we're so close
Just
to all
play
of
this in the background.
Just play this. Yeah.
That's
Everybody
all we're
get a
doing.
mouthful of
That's
this.
all we're gonna do when they're gone. All we're gonna do
Dude,
is play
just
this
play
video.
play
We're
this
gonna talk
video the
over it the whole
whole
time. You don't have to do your hair,
We're gonna play
anything. We're
this
just
video
gonna
the
talk
whole
over
time.
Imam Majid and Barack Obama kibutzing at the
Hey,
table.
folks, on the
That's
radio.
2 weeks of show.
On the radio, you hear a lot of voices saying a lot of things. We're watching an iftar dinner at the White House with people who we know are involved in terrorism, sitting and laughing and playing with the president. Absolutely absurd. But I want to have a reality check, Mark, you and I,
Reality
as we
check.
leave to go on our little excursion. Are we so close to this that we're making a mountain out of? Is this really a molehill? Don't all
Okay.
ethnic groups and cultural groups try to work to get their view implemented in society? I mean, what's so
They're
bad about it?
terrorists. We know ISNA are terrorists. We know that they are from the Holy Land Foundation trial and all
This
the
is
evidence.
the Muslim Brotherhood in
Muslim
the United States.
They're terrorists.
Okay, so
Quit-
maybe
you know, we should not. I'm tired of calling them Muslim Brotherhood. They're terrorists. They support terrorism.
Okay, let
They
me
are
ask you
terrorists.
this. Let me ask you this. Then the average American the average American citizen needs to make a distinction between the activity that is kosher, good word, the activity of getting involved in helping build your society and fight hate and all of that. That's a good activity. But if you put a particular group of people in there with an evil agenda, they distort and destroy that activity.
All right,
The activity
Tom.
is viewed by the citizens.
Tom.
Oh, they must be good. They're getting
Tom.
involved in their social
Tom.
outworking,
I have a bottle of water right here. See that?
Yep.
A bottle of water.
which is good in
Which
and
is-
of itself.
It's a great
It's half
bottle. of-
something.
No, it's not. It's not half something. It's 99.99999% pure, except it's got 1 drop of arsenic in it.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I get it. So for America, when we make a lot of noise about these issues,
Except
Don't-
the ISNA is half
don't
full of
look-
arsenic.
Don't say, well, they're just good people getting involved in a process that everybody gets involved in. You have to critique, analyze, and determine what
Okay.
what they're
You are
selling.
too, you guys, you're too close to it. You need to step back. You need to step away. Go to Israel.
Go to Israel.
Okay?
Let's go.
Get a fresh,
Great idea.
Get a fresh
Great idea.
perspective on what's
I'm
happening
out here. Yeah, I'm out
and
here.
then come back
Here,
and give
go
us
ahead.
a
Beth,
report.
let's just go right
So say goodbye to everybody. They're out of here. Stay tuned next week. Damon's in charge. You're gonna love it. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Good night. Good luck, etc.
Allah Akbar.
Jumpin Jum'ah, baby.
See ya. Goodbye.